The 2027 Kia Sportage Hybrid, what 100,000 miles of owner data reveals. If you park this SUV for more than a week, it might not start. That's not a rumor from one unlucky owner, it's the single most common electrical complaint across owner forums and dealer service records for the 2027 Kia Sportage Hybrid. A vehicle built around cutting-edge cabin technology has a very old-fashioned weakness: its 12-volt battery. And that's just the beginning of what the data shows. The Sportage nameplate has been around since the mid-1990s, but the version Kia is selling now barely resembles those early trucks. Since 2023, it's ridden on the same midsize N3 platform as the Kia Sorento and Hyundai Santa Fe, a shift that gave it a bigger footprint and, notably, a mechanical driveshaft all-wheel drive system instead of a simpler electronic setup. For 2027, the big story isn't styling. It's where the vehicle is built. Production has moved from South Korea to the Hyundai Motor Group Meta plant in Bryan County, Georgia. That's a supply chain decision, but it matters to buyers: steadier inventory, shorter shipping times, and less exposure to tariff swings. This SUV competes directly with the Toyota RAV4 Hybrid, the Honda CR-V Hybrid, and its own corporate cousin, the Hyundai Tucson Hybrid. Kia's pitch is different from Toyota's or Honda's, though. Instead of chasing the best fuel economy number, it's chasing families and tech-focused buyers who want a geared transmission feel and a genuinely upscale cabin. Ask enough owners what sold them on this vehicle, and one number keeps surfacing: 41.3 inches of rear legroom. That's not a marketing figure, it's class-leading, and it shows up constantly in real reviews from parents. Bulky rear-facing car seats fit without forcing the front passenger to scoot their seat forward, which sounds minor until you've actually tried to do it in a smaller crossover. Cargo space follows the same pattern. The standard hybrid offers close to 40 cubic feet behind the second row, genuinely competitive for the segment. But here's where the story splits: choose the plug-in hybrid, and that number drops noticeably because the larger battery eats into cargo room. The PHEV also loses its spare tire entirely, replaced by battery packaging underneath. Automotive journalists don't agree on much with this vehicle, but they agree on this: Kia's curved dual 12.3-inch display setup is the best looking, most intuitive interface in the compact SUV class right now, ahead of Toyota's dated system and Honda's smaller screens. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto now come standard across every trim, fixing a complaint from older model years where higher trims oddly required a wired connection. But there's a quirk almost nobody mentions until they own one. Climate and volume controls share a single touch panel, and it's easy to accidentally blast the stereo when you're just trying to adjust the temperature. Owners have found a workaround: holding the mode button for 3 seconds locks in a default screen. But it's the kind of thing you only discover after weeks of frustration. There's also a stranger issue tucked under the back seat. The hybrid battery's cooling vents sit along the base of the rear bench, and if they get blocked by gym bags or floor mats, the system can overheat and force the vehicle onto gas-only power. It's a small design oversight with a real consequence. At low speeds, the Sportage Hybrid runs almost entirely on electric power, and the cabin stays remarkably quiet. Instead of the droning ECVT sound most hybrid rivals produce, this one uses an actual 6-speed automatic, so acceleration feels like distinct, traditional gear shifts rather than one long rubber band surge. But here's where things get interesting. Push this SUV to sustained highway speeds, 75 miles per hour and above, and fuel economy falls into the low 30s. That's a real gap compared to the RAV4 Hybrid, which routinely beats it by 5 to 7 mpg in mixed driving. So the vehicle that feels most refined in the city is also the one that loses its efficiency edge on long interstate stretches. Winter driving tells a more favorable story. The mechanical driveshaft AWD system pre-engages the rear wheels before the fronts even start slipping, giving it a more predictable, planted feel in snow than rivals relying on a rear electric motor. This is where the research gets specific, and where buyers need to pay close attention. Fuel dilution in cold climates. Because this is a direct injection engine that frequently shuts off and restarts in hybrid mode, short winter trips can let fuel seep past the piston rings into the oil before it fully warms up. Kia and Hyundai addressed this with a software update, TSB23EE002H. That changes cold start injection timing. It's a documented fix, not a rumor, but it confirms the underlying issue was real. 3 recalls worth knowing about. Early production models had an instrument cluster that could go blank during startup due to voltage fluctuations, fixed with a software update. A to-witch harness recall addressed water intrusion that could short-circuit the digital cluster. And a power steering recall covered a circuit board defect that could cause sudden loss of steering assist. The maintenance surprise. The PHEV's inverter coolant system needs a specialized flush roughly every 32,000 miles, costing between $350 and $880, because it requires a bidirectional scan tool to properly bleed air from the system. The standard hybrid needs this same service far less often, around every 100,000 miles. The wear and tear pattern. Whistling wind noise from the driver's window weather strip tends to show up between 5,000 and 10,000 miles. Trim rattles near the B-pillar and tailgate emerge by 10,000 to 30,000 miles. Factory tires often need replacement by 25,000 miles. None of these are dangerous. They're the kind of thing a dealer fixes under warranty, but they add up. Mechanics flag one more thing: owners rarely think about carbon buildup on the intake valves, common to all direct injection engines. Skipping walnut blasting cleaning around 60,000 miles can lead to rough idling and misfires down the road. Across owner forums, a consistent pattern emerges. People love the space, the screens, and the highway merging power. They're frustrated by the 12 volts battery dying during vacations, by the touch panel mix-ups, and, on PHEV models specifically, by the fact that the heater simply won't run without firing up the gas engine, since there's no heat pump. For short winter commutes, that defeats a big part of the reason someone buys a plug-in hybrid in the first place. Would they buy again? Mostly yes, with the caveat that most owners say they'd choose the standard hybrid over the PHEV unless they specifically need extended electric-only range. Against the Toyota RAV4 hybrid, the Sportage loses on fuel economy but wins on rear legroom, warranty length, and cabin technology. The RAV4's interior, by comparison, leans on harder plastics and a less modern interface. Against the Honda CR-V hybrid, the Sportage counters Honda's smoother road manners with a much longer warranty and more available tech features, though the CR-V skips ventilated seats and panoramic screens on its mid-tire trims. The data points toward one clear answer: the X-Hybrid AWD trim. It balances ride comfort on 18-inch wheels, avoids the PHEV's complex cooling maintenance, and still gets AWD traction. The PHEV makes the most sense for buyers with mild winters and short commutes who can actually use the electric-only range. It makes the least sense for cold climate, short trip drivers. As for model years 2026 and 2027 benefit from the mid-cycle refresh and updated software. 2023, the first year of this platform, carries more of the early electronics and trim issues. The 2027 Kia Sportage Hybrid isn't the most fuel-efficient vehicle in its class, and it isn't the one with the fewest reported quirks. But it's the one offering the most interior space, the longest warranty, and arguably the most polished cabin technology in the segment, backed by a mechanical AWD system that genuinely performs in bad weather. For families and commuters who value space and technology over chasing the absolute best MPG figure, the research points to a strong, if imperfect, recommendation. For drivers logging long highway miles or short freezing cold commutes, the numbers suggest looking elsewhere first.